Hello, who are you and where are you from?
My name is Charles Sheehan. I live in San Francisco.
All right, and what do you do?
I work actually for the San Francisco Environment Department. It's an agency within the city and county of San Francisco. We're a city department.
And you're the public information? What's your exact title?
I'm the Chief Policy and Public Affairs Officer.
Okay. And so has the climate changed much since you were a kid?
So I actually grew up on the East Coast, and then after college I kind of came out to San Francisco. So I spent half my life on the East Coast, half my life here. And I think in both locations the climate has changed. One of the earliest, not earliest memories, but I remember around 8th or ninth grade, I remember my aunt telling me that after a snowstorm, she's like, these are the type of winters that I remember, where there's always snow on the ground. And as I kind of went through childhood all the way to high school, even college, like there was less and less snow on the ground. And what my aunt said to me has kind of stuck with me, because I think she was making a real observation. She had more years, obviously, but she was telling me what I was already seeing, that there was kind of less and less snow. And when I was in elementary or high school, I liked snow because you had snow days, and that was something you noticed. Here on the West Coast, I've been here for about 15, 20 years almost, and I do think I've seen the climate change here as well. I've seen it get hotter. I've seen there be more days where our air is clogged with smoke, where the sun doesn't rise because there's a layer of smoke, and so what happens is like the sun pierces that smoke and it turns into this orange hazy glow, and it's the days that the sun doesn't rise. And like that never happened when I first moved here. Now it occasionally happens every so often. And so I feel like I've seen the climate change both on the East Coast and on the West Coast, unfortunately.
Wow. And what about currently? San Francisco is widely viewed as as being on the vanguard of among American cities doing something about climate change. What are a few of the things that you want to mention that you're doing?
Well, I do think we work hard at trying to protect our climate and reduce our emissions, and so I do think some of that reputation is deserved. We take climate and preservation of our earth and our land very seriously here in San Francisco. It's why we're kind of a zero-waste city. We have our 3-bin system of recyclables, compostables, and everything that can't be put in recyclable and compostable into that 3rd bin, and we're decreasing what we put into that 3rd bin. And we were one of the first cities to do that. We have some of the highest penetrations of that recyclable compost system. 99% of the customers are complying with that 3-bin system. And zero waste is something that we have to get to as a city, as a society, as a globe, because it helps preserve resources and because it helps reduce emissions. When you think about all that goes into to manufacture something, for you to buy it, then for it to break, and for you to throw it away, and then to be recycled or landfilled, tons of emissions are created. Lots of resources are wasted. And so it's very important in any climate plan to be zero waste focused. And we have been that way in San Francisco since before I moved here, that's for sure. We're also looking purely at emissions. How do we get to zero waste? How do we get to zero emissions? And since 1990, we've been able to lower our emissions by 48%. And we do that with a clean electricity supply. We do that by eliminating fossil fuels, especially from our buildings. We do that by getting off of gasoline, petroleum, oil-based cars, and going to all electric. And today, 90% of the city's emissions are coming from personal, cars and trucks and things on the road, as well as buildings, which is mainly from natural gas appliances. And if you can solve those two issues, clean all electric buildings, clean all electric transportation, you'll be pretty much at zero emissions. And anything that's left, you can sequester through forestation, plantings, urban greening, partnering with rural counties, and that's what we're doing. That's kind of a little bit of a summary of our climate action plan. And every San Franciscan is participating in that. We're all focused on reducing emissions. We're all focused on zero waste.
And you have these EV laws about parking garages, and you
Sure.
have EV targets.
Yes, we do.
And the Bay, I saw something in the Chronicle about some big propositions for the Bay, rising sea levels, or are there some things, mitigations going on with the Bay?
Sure. We have a hazards and climate resilience plan here in San Francisco that is kind of addressing how the city is going to adapt to rising sea levels. And it's a local effort, but it involves regional partners, and some of our Bay Area regional partners are looking at how they're going to adapt to rising sea levels, rising levels in the Bay. And so it's a dual track effort here in the city, both with the government and the citizens, like reduce your emissions, but also adapt while our climate is changing, because we know it is changing. We see it every day. There's no doubt about it.
And you have a conference here? Do you bring people in to talk about this issue, climate change?
Sure. I mean, because of some of San Francisco's innovative policies, because we as a government, we as a citizenry try and be as green as possible. There have been a number of environmentally focused conferences, green conferences. There was the Global Climate Action Summit in 2018, which was kind of a worldwide convening of cities and NGOs to focus on the environment. I believe there's the Asian Pacific Environmental, there's a conference coming up in November, and it's also going to focus on equity in the environment. And again, it's happening here in San Francisco. So because we are so used to being green, it's part of our ethos, our personal ethos, we do attract those larger conversations and conferences.
And what about the future? Are you optimistic? You're in a larger picture, a larger world where the climate change is happening. And are you optimistic about the future or pessimistic, and what should be done?
I am optimistic about the future. I think change needs to accelerate. I don't think we are moving fast enough, but each day I do think change is accelerating. The EPA just came out in the past couple of days with very stringent emission regulations. I haven't fully looked into them, but the goal is simple: to make sure we transition to EVs much more quickly. And so, with the work that we do here locally, when I see a San Francisco office worker, picking around in the 3 bins to make sure the recyclables are in the recyclables and the compost are in the compostables, that gives me hope. And I see that all the time. You're a San Franciscan when you go into your 3 bins and make sure the right thing is in the right place. And so I see little signs like that everywhere, and then the EPA does that. I see that as a big sign. So I am optimistic, but it's not going to be easy. And we do need to accelerate the climate action we're taking to save our planet. And it's going to take every country, every city, every county, everyone working together.
Very good. Thank you very much today on the 12th of April, 2023, here in San Francisco. Thank you very much.
Thank you.